Well, that was weird. I couldn't get rid of OBS. It was locked up. When you start it as administrator, you have to go into Task Manager as administrator to shut it down. I didn't realize that. I thought Task Manager was Task Manager. Anyway, so missed the open. There's been quite a bit of. Here's our open. It's a big drop on the news, so the short was ETH. The open tested lower. Now it's kind of all over the place. Took out the levels over here, and we're looking for higher. The entire week has been higher, so it's not a big surprise that that's going to happen. Today is a quad witching Friday. This has been a rollover week, a huge announcement by the FOMC that they're going to cut rates at least 3 times in the coming year. Big pop in the market, and now it's a quad witching Friday, so I think that I am going to be just Mr. Stand by and watch. See if all this stuff is working. Looks like it is. Always something. Anyway, so here we go. It is the 15th of December, 2023. Markets open. Regular trading hours. Actually, highly likely that we will just do a mean reversion. POC is pretty well centralized here, so low scale target and turn around and go the other way. Mean reversion trading. This is the full session from 1700 last night. This is the current RTH, and this is what's on the chart. So we're going mean reversion and up, the volume node, mean reversion and down, likely all day. I did finally succumb to some FOMO. Took one trade yesterday and, of course, got stopped out off stream, which is disappointing. Stopped out to the tick and then, of course, went to the targets. So I should be, I'm my own worst enemy sometimes, I guess. Probably not positive conversation for my brain to hear. I think there's a lot to be said for your speech and the words that I use or that we use, and that our brain tends to want to believe that stuff. Now, I'm seeing 2 completely different things here. On some screens. Look at that. Now, what was that all about? But as you see, pretty much mean reversion. Nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's pretty close. However, as these swings get more close together, it's more of a consolidation, and then it's could likely go directional. There's news was out at 7:30. Nothing else really other than the witching hour. So here we have a close consolidation. IB's been pushed up to the upside. CNQ. See if I can expand this out a little bit. There we go. And we opened lower in range, I'm guessing. Pretty damn close though. close would have been about there, and here we are down here. So that's the way I have the Bookmap, Cloud Note levels set up. These percentages are based on lower end range. And we're sort of smacking all over them here. And hopefully this is all, God, so irritating. Streaming. Oh, okay, sounds like things are working now. And we'll see. Pretty much consolidation. I got to get a hotkey set up for the mic mute so I don't cough in ears and break people's eardrums. So we're just slamming around here, consolidating. Had a couple of nice mean reversion swings, low to high, but you see it narrowing. Lower highs, higher lows. That's a consolidation, and it's just jamming down around here. We've got VPOC, mid, and VWAP all stacked on top of each other pretty much. There's been pretty much nothing go on with the VPOC migration. And it did a little dipsy doodle down and back up here, not worth even looking at, I don't think. Yeah. It's Friday, the 15th of December. 10 days to Christmas, holiday. And we are now living in Central Standard Time. There we go, a little pop to the upside. But will it get outside and mean revert? That's highly likely. And I'm not too fond of the straighter X thing so far. Liquidity hanging out at 72, been there for a little while, since just after the open, I guess. Not much, but It is better than a sharp stick in the eye. Interesting to hear some of these bookmap folks that can. I find it kind of amazing that they are able to continually talk like a radio broadcaster. Uh, Maybe it's scripted. Maybe they're just coming off the seat of their pants. I don't know, but it's quite a skill. Admirable, I guess. I try to be focused on the market and my process more than a entertainment function, and articulate what I'm seeing and what's going on. The purpose of this stream is my trading journal, video trading journal, and it's really great to go back and review. I can see what I'm seeing and hear what I'm thinking, and that's the idea. And it looks to me like both ES and NQ are just slapping back and forth here. Slight skew on the NQ to the upside. I guess you could say the same thing over here, but not much. We do have a naked volume point of control up here at 75 from yesterday. That may have some impact. That may pull them up there. That's living over here on the high time frame book map side of life. This is the Globex VWAP. This being the Globex volume profile, and that little purple boy there is the VWAP. So yeah, that fits. Extending quite a ways to the upside. Obviously, the bulk of the volume traded is pretty much the same from last night and so far this morning. Or if you prefer, ETH and RTH. I choose not to, and have conditioned myself over the years to not diddle in the middle, which is the phrase, taking POCs out, trading from this middle out. This is the POC, which is the highest point of control, is what it stands for. It's the most traded price so far. As this migrates around, then it changes. But that means that that's the highest likely price to trade. And so if you trade around there, you are, in my opinion, and I'm sure math would bear this out, is the highest probability you have for getting taken out, because every trade is a 50-50 chance. Which way is it going to go? And the closer you get to the POC, the more random or the more frequent, I guess, those swings become. As that's my belief and my understanding. And in this case, we are pretty much mean reverting, almost a perfect Gaussian profile. Got taper at both ends, which is excess. Means they've explored up there. Nobody was interested, or exhaustion, call it what you will. Same way with the bottom. So chances are highly likely we'll just rotate around. And that's that. My trading setup is the multi-brackets for mean reversion. Both stops are at 12 ticks or 13 ticks, because multi-bracket won't allow you to put identical stops. So they're a tick apart. But the first target is, or the scale is at 12 ticks, which pays for the second contract. So you're then risk neutral. And the tentative or the programmed target 2 is 24 ticks. That can be moved depending on what it looks like in the market. But at that point, you're risk neutral. So the worst that can possibly happen is you scratch, which is huge psychologically. That is set up over here, both because I trade with a keyboard and then move stops with a mouse or move targets, etc. with a mouse. And this is 2 contracts, so it's a single lift, single package. Look at this goofiness here. Nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Looks like hopscotch. That's called a liquidity vacuum, where not enough orders living in there to fill them, so they jump through several price levels. These mean reversion trades are really tight. For example, here, I mean, how do you predict that? That's craziness. But 63 to 66, if you are spot on your entry, your first scale has got to be below the first obstacle, and in this case, and or POC, and in this case, they're all here. There's the current session POC, the mid, the VWAP, and the previous and the full session POC. So, there's not enough meat on that bone, and I'm not that good at making up my mind and trading. What did we have here? Can't really call that exhaustion. There's 64 contracts stops out there and 40. So is that exhaustion? I don't know. But there's not enough room to enter, scale, and then be risk neutral, in my opinion. Well, we're in the IB30 range now. There's a stat that's long known as the IB stat, which says that either the IB high or low are taken out in the RTH session. The IB high and the IB low is the first hour high, first hour low of the regular trading session. There's a new stat cooked up by a guy in the T Lab, which is called the IB30, and he's calculated that not only is that a valid stat, but that in the second 30 minutes, 9 o'clock to 9:30, the IB high or the IB low is also extended. So there is no IB stat because the IB stat doesn't set until 9:30, but it says that the IB high and or IB low will extend one or the other in the second 30 minutes. That's called or referred to by that group as the IB30. And it seems to be a pretty valid trade, a valid statistic. Now, if this is not consolidation, they are skewing to the upside. It's been moved up twice. Nothing has happened on the IB low yet, except the first opening swing low, I guess. This is my version, or what I call this is retail soup. This is a condition where retail traders just cannot resist trading, and as a result, they just get chopped up into soup. And look at that, you know, the entire range so far. There's 10 handles, 9 handles. Wow. There's the current session, RTH session, low and high. That's 9 handles. Psst, nothing. And certainly not a spot to be swinging from the inside out. That can be, you can pull back to the POC and trend days, and counter trends, counter rotations with the trend, and then trade with the trend. But in this kind of a context, it's a Gaussian, almost perfect Gaussian distribution. POC dead center, perfect taper off both sides to a little bit more of a taper to lower volatility or lower volume over here. However, I guess it's just not graphing properly. It's actually less volume to the top if you want to play those numbers. I'm supposing that these areas up here where there is some liquidity, it's been sitting there for a little while. Got a pretty big pile of stuff going on down here at 60. That's got to be, and that's been sitting in there a long time, since the open, and actually a little before the open through the ETH. So there's something going on. Somebody's got interest at 60. I'm not sure why my NQ chart here is not showing the IB. I don't know what's up with that. Very definitely should be. I don't know. Seems like it's gotten turned off somehow or another. Should be green just like this. Always has been. I'll have to look at that after the stream and after today's trade. I'm not going to start monkeying with the charts now. I'm not trading the NQ anyway, so. And I can certainly tell where the IB high and low are. That's pretty weird though, actually. Oop. Oh, don't see it. I'll go back and fix that later. All right. So here we go up to the highs again. Is this going to be a mean reversion, or are they going to actually get a breakout going? We do have that naked volume point of control from yesterday above, and that might well be where we try to reach. But what's the thinking here? We've been up all week, nearly straight up. Probably the better view of that would be the high time frame. This is the micro composite. These are day regular trading hours sessions. So pretty obvious what the context is. Context has been this was the Fed's interest cut. Yesterday was a little, what, did they really mean it? What's going on? And here we are today with a little, basically nothing out there. So context is up if you want to be technical and accurate in the longer time frame. So one would imagine that, given the previous days and the higher time frame context, that the more probable trade, successful trade, would be mean reversion lower to higher. That doesn't really pan out, or there's no justification for that in today's trade, except for the fact that the IB, the upper IB or the IB high, has been continually bumped up, heading towards this 75. So that might be, that might lend some credence to that theory. And here we go back down. Again, from my point of view, my trade plan, okay, we're nearing the outside edge of this, what's visible on the chart profile, but not on the regular session profile. We would need to get down in here someplace before it's, mean reversion would be valid in my opinion, and especially because there's no range. We're only talking about a handful of ticks here, 5 ticks from the absolute bottom of the POC. So points, not ticks, excuse me. So that's it's a close range, and what I have discovered from a long time, and maybe it's just because I'm not as proficient a trader or as unconsciously competent as some others, but seems like you spend a lot of a trader's time is spent anticipating and waiting for your trade to manifest. And the theory would be that you are ready, you have a structured trade identified, and you're ready for it when it comes there. Now, if I were to be thinking in those terms, I would be thinking about a mean reversion from the lows towards the highs with a ultimate target up here at the NVPOC. Any trade from here out is a breakout and basically FOMO. And I consider breakout trading FOMO. And it's, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm wrong. That's my thinking and my trade plan. I actually have an error type set up for any kind of breakouts. There's a little stop pick above 70. 70 yesterday was a big number. Be interesting to hear if this noise filter is working. My wife is in the background talking to somebody in Vietnamese. So that'll be interesting to pick out when I review the stream. Now here would be a tempting target for a long. Looking at the IB high, IB 30, and then following in hot pursuit the actual IB stat because we're at 915. So I will continue to narrate these, and I will be right back. Well, here we go. And pull back to the VWAP and looking for higher. I'm going to extend that IB 30 again. Now pushing that IB high for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time. So here we go. That's obviously the likely direction that they're going to pick if they haven't already picked it. Brings us back to settle and VPOC, and up above is an 82.4%. That was the overnight VPOC, I think. Hold on. I will look. Yeah. It's actually the overnight mid. Huh. The stats that are alongside the levels come from my homework study here. The only variable is the opening type. And then these stats are the number of times that this has happened or been hit within the last 2001 days. That's how that works. So we've extended the IB 30 yet again. 5 times to the upside. And no possibility of a VPOC shift as yet because of the we could move through this up into this range and create another distribution. That's a likely prospect. My gut would say we take this pullback kind of rotation to get long and extend, but looking at the Gaussian profile, it's mean reversion. So chances are higher, in my view, that we're going to rotate back down once again. So we'll see. And, I'm wrong a lot. The idea is that I don't have a clue. What's the statistic? What are the probabilities? We've extended the overnight high has been pushed up 5 different times since the open. That's clearly the IB 30 a couple of times now. And the IB stat will be in a target or a valid in 10 minutes. At the end of the first hour of regular trading, the IB high and or low are set and they no longer move. And that's called and then there's a stat of 90 something percent that one or the other will be taken out in the regular trading session. Not 90% the high or 90% the low. It's that one or the other will be taken out. There are specific stats for the open type that the high would be taken out or that the low would be taken out. They're different. Those are different stats. Very, very. A lot of dangerous territory here, in my opinion. A lot of trickiness going on there. They're flashing this liquidity up here, trying to sucker these guys into a run to the top. I trade think like a retail trader, don't trade like one. That's a hard thing to easy to say, hard to do, or harder to understand, I think, or be cognizant of while you're trading. For me, anyway. So there's the overnight point of control. That is the ultimate target at 82.8. I got that wrong. Couldn't be 82.8. It's got to be something else, but you get the point. 70 at 86 quarter. And there's another IB extension. I'm almost tempted to just hit into this, but it would be considered a breakout. I think that it's a likely possibility we're going to get that naked volume point of control, and there's a quite high possibility or probability or statistic that we'll take out the overnight POC. And looks like Tom's agreeing with me on several facts. I may take this long as a pullback here to this low value volume node right here, right here. And look for the higher ground. The better entry is down here, of course. Pull back to this level would be a much better idea. There, that's what I mean. So if we can get back down in here to some low areas, I'll look for a long trade to the upside, targeting the IB high first, then the NV POC, and then the overnight POC. And now we reach the diddle in the middle zone, which is the NQ is coming down there. The developing value area high. I'm going to take that trade. Now, my scale will be at the IB, and then I'm looking for targets above. So I will get up above this
Order submitted
here, and we'll see how this plays out. The darkness, when the screen goes dark, I'm taking a snap. And if we get up here to the IB, could well get our risk neutral, which is always a comforting spot to be. And there we have risk neutral. So this is break even. Our stop is just a little bit below that. We'll
Order submitted.
bring it up to there.
Order submitted.
There's no possible way now that we can do any worse than a scratch if it comes all the way back down to mid and POC. That's the beauty of risk neutral. So we see now, we'll let it play out and see if we reach for our targets. Another few minutes. This is an IB30 push again. This is the sixth time, and could very well be taken out. Settlement, NVPOC, targets galore over here. And my ultimate target is going to be value area high in this 86 level up here somewhere. But, first things first. I might push this target up
Order submitted.
just to get a
Order
hit
submitted.
right under that value area high, I guess. Just to let it sit out there and think positive. And it could immediately flip around, and now we're at the absolute top of the stream. The profile could rotate all the way back down to value area low. IB low. And do you do you lock in the profit? Now here's where the FOMO and those kind of things start to come in trade management. So you can bring the stop up here to this low volume area, locks in 2 contracts at that price. But I don't do that until I'm well away from that area. Now we've taken out the the naked volume point of control, and that'll come back and test that settlement. The question is, do you want to have 12 ticks of profit on 2 contracts, or 24 ticks total, or ride risk neutral and target the higher levels? Obviously. Obviously, that's a question. We're now in the IB30, so one more couple of pops above that, and the IB stat will be set. At 9:30, we've now set the IB. This IB high will not change, nor will the IB low. They're set in stone now. Assuming that the market will continue its quest for, the reason this just migrated is this is pushed from from my IRT, see where it was hit there, and there's a little bit of a delay when the data is pushed only every minute back and forth to bookmap. Now, had I moved my stop up, I would have been taken out for 24 ticks, and it could come back and take me out completely. That's the joy of trading. But I'm in a what I feel to be a pretty relatively comfortable area. This is break even. Okay, you can look down here and see what break even is too, actually. And I'm a couple ticks above break even, takes care of the commissions. So at worst, I can scale. I could also bring it up here to my entry, and then the first scale of 12 ticks would be in the bank. A couple of ribeyes there. But at the moment, I'm going to let this play out. I've intentionally blocked out my time this morning to try to have a bit of focus on the market. It's been a hectic couple of weeks in my other life. So let's see if they can get this, get above this micro high volume node and get up here to mid and above. VP overnight mid, ETH mid. And the ideal situation, of course, would be get up here and smack this 82% of the overnight. There's an 82% chance in this lower configuration that we will take out the overnight volume point of control. So, you know, that's not sneezing country there. And this could play all day. You never know. And we could rotate back down and take out the trade. All those are very, very definite possibilities. Now, we haven't taken out the IB high yet. It was set here before IB 30, before the 9:30 hour, which sets the IB. So we have yet to take this out. My guess will be once we've taken this volume was a stop pick. Once we take the IB, and which is also at the naked volume port of control, we're going to pop to here. My guess. We'll see. Generally, that IB, taking out the IB is usually a line in the sand for retail guys. And it is yet to be done. This is now a high volume node in the micro composite. And yeah, we also have this is yesterday's trade. So yesterday's high is 47.9175, right? This is the high of this micro composite. Here's today's trade. So, and you see my stop and my, my target and my stop. So conservatively, we could look to take out this high. We have pretty much every damn day forever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days we've taken out the high. That would be lovely. Lovely. Whether we're going to, did we get the IB? Yeah, we did. Okay, we just took out the IB. And my prognosis of the prediction of a stop run or some volume up there was not borne out because we had very little, only 67. Probably because they took out a lot of this right here at the naked volume point of control. Now I need to be thinking about, do I bring my stop up to this level below this micro composite high volume area, which would lock in 24 ticks. But right now, I would be taken out before I have gotten a look at the overnight mid, or the overnight POC. You know, and there's nothing worse than watching it come back and take your stop. Believe me. This is where I have to think about what the hell my true trade management plan would be. Right there would have been within a tick, a knuckle biter. I'd like to see something happen, but there's no news, or that's just below yesterday's, that my target is just below yesterday's value area, if you could call one there. So here's yesterday's trade. My target is sitting right in there, just below the value area high and well below the high of yesterday. So just let it play out. And it's, it's not that far away. It's only 10 points to the target. We're in only in four or 5 points profit now. So it would be nice to have another runner, but the risk neutral trade needs to be set up in multiples of 2, right? So that when this stop or target 1 was hit or scale was hit, break even drops back to here, which was the stop area for both trades, and now I'm riding risk free. And so that's where that's at. I would like to really see this just materialize as I hope. That'd be nice, a nice Friday. I blocked off some time, so I won't be bothered. And I'll be right back. Well, 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 what have we got happening here? A whole lot of nothing, huh? We have definitely got a oh, that's better. Get on up there. Yeah. I'd like to see him at least take a run to those levels. What we need to get is some of this liquidity dropping in behind here, whoever the hell they are. Not much, so if 100 contracts, 160. And there's no real big liquidity parked out above. This is the next big shot sitting up here at about whatever that is. That number's not showing up. There we are. It's only 232 contracts, but it's, better than a poke in the nose. Now I could start thinking about bringing my stop up to my previous target, which is the low volume node of this new upper distribution in this is today's trade, remember? This is the current session. This is what's shown on the chart. This is the full session. So if I bring my stop up to this low volume node, the worst I can get out of it is 24 ticks. But that's been hit a couple of times and a stop pick down here. And here we go. They're going to take another look at it right now from the looks of this. I would say they're wanting higher. They have all week, and I'm prone to just let myself ride, or maybe bring it up to entry, which is we're above break even now. Maybe bring it up to the entry. I don't know. I'd like to get into the next lift above this liquidity and then bring my stop up to the first scale. Could always be just bring it up to the first scale and take those 24 ticks and then look to add or re-enter. That's also a possibility. So it's a hard one, you know. That's a hard one for me to deal with mentally. Had I not taken the trade yesterday, which had vowed I would not, but it looked like a rational move or logical move, part of the plan, and I just got stopped. It did go actually in the direct direction, but I got stopped by a tick or something stupid. So that, those are the kind of things that make you itch. So in the back of my mind, I've got, well, I want to get that. I want to get that neutral, right? So if I was bringing myself up to this low volume node and get taken out, I would be neutral on the week because I hadn't traded all week. Being cautious about this crazy week. Rollover, huge pop, which I missed. Unfortunately, had to go out and do something with my wife. Important, and missed the 1 o'clock hour when when Powell spoke. Now I would have just been taken out for my scale, and maybe they're going to come all the way back down and retest. Never know. So anyway, I missed that big pop, which was fairly, in hindsight, of course, fairly looked fairly easy to get in alignment with and get on. It was a prolonged, consistent up move. Why didn't that go there? There we go. Now I'm going to probably be cussing myself if it comes back and takes out my stop that I didn't take it off here. You know? That is the joy of trading. And that's the big, I think, trade management after the fact is probably entries, followed by trade management, are probably two of the biggest areas that I find difficult. You get so conflicted with is it FOMO? Is it hide? Is it your monkey mind talking to you? Or is it like, and now I'm thinking, well, that was pretty stupid. I didn't bring my stop up here to this low volume area, and I would have been out at 24 ticks. I could always re-enter. But when that happens, I'm now looking at not as, in my opinion, not as a good entry. But we'll see. And the market never goes straight up either. It's always back and forth, up and down. This could be a great spot for an ad, which is what some of the folks do. Tom, in particular, he would have probably added at this area, looking for another scale and just keep, picking off twos and threes. I'm going to remain risk neutral and hope or think that we're going to continue higher, at least up to that, at least back to that point of control. And we haven't touched on a couple of different areas here. We have this extended POC at 80 from yesterday, value area high, and then the overnight POC. There's a whole lot of stuff living up here. So we'll see what happens over here and see how disappointed or happy I become. Right now, coming back to my entry, you know, was up six handles. And of course, had I known this, the idea would be to take it off up here, re-enter down here, and just keep working it. But I'm sort of determined to try to hold for this targets because that's one of the harder things to do, is hold for the longer term targets. This consolidation is a bit unnerving because it could pop either direction. I'm hoping it'll pop in the upper direction, but here we go. So we've migrated from, exactly the high of the session around this low volume area. We've got to get across through this low volume node now to get back above that micro composite. We got to get above this micro composite area and above this low volume area to get higher ground, in my opinion. Which, if you look back on the old way of thinking about it, all this trade here is now resistance, because all these guys were, well, I don't know. That's the way it used to be, support and resistance. The line like that of trade would have been considered a resistance when approaching from below, and approaching from above would be considered support in the old trading styles before volume profile and back in the market profile days with TPOs. Yeah. So we're above that 24 tick and the low volume. If we can catch above this and if we can get over 77, I'll definitely trail up. Definitely. I may anyway. It's a hard one to know. It's a hard decision to make, and to gather enough data to have that be statistically significant data set is, Jesus, I don't know how to do it. How do you, where do you draw the line on variables? So is it context up? Has it, is it based around the IB high? There are so many parameters here that I don't know what the hell to think. I'd like to see him get the squeeze going though. There's no real squeeze going to happen now. RTH high. Let's see. Got a new one. Let's get up there, boys and girls. I'd like to see him get into this area here. They're still toying with that damn high. This is kind of a reload, in my opinion. And do I bring it up? That's the big one. I'd really like to have this thing for various reasons, but it would be psychologically nice for me to hold on to a long one, to a good long trade for an extended period. That's a hard one to do. I find myself becoming more focused on the shorter time frame and, you know, get this, like if I did this now, it's basically a 1-to-1, right? That's not a particularly good statistic or win rate or any of those other kind of things. Better than a 0-to-1, but and they're going to sit there at that little liquidity, put a lid on it, lift off, come up at this and lift off. Now that would be nice. Hit for 77, I suppose. 777 is a, I don't know enough about the options market to know what's strikes and what aren't. I figured it century numbers and whole numbers, but figures, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Right now, the higher time frame is bouncing around on the IB high. And are we looking for an IB continuation? I would hope so, as opposed to an IB failure. Yeah, they lifted that off. So that's good. There now we're making some ground. Oh, that's nice. One little pop there. That's lovely. Just lovely. Okay, and we get through this now. We're actually making some ground. We're at the 777. Let's see if they can get a roll going here. I can't even see my stop anymore, so that's a good thing. I think I will definitely bring my stop up there.
Order submitted.
Now if I'm doing this right, it should be about right. I'd like to see this just continue to jump. Then I could get into this next low volume area for my trade management. That's mid. That is the overnight or the VPOC mid. It's living underneath of this here. Not unusual or wouldn't be out of character for the last week to see this continue on to that high. Got a lot of liquidity dropping in up there on the top. However, 81, 80. Yeah. Will the buyers continue? Let's hope. Let's hope so. Yeah, take that out. There you go. Lift off. Let's rock. Let's go, boys and girls. 7,900. That's got to be a strike, I guess. And now, do I come up here to 6? How tight do I trail it? That's the big question. How tight do I trail it? Doesn't seem to have a lot of conviction here. It just keeps waffling around and reloading and heading up and reloading. Get up through there now, another lift, and I'll get up here to my next low volume node. 79 seems to be putting up a fuss.
Order submitted.
There we go. What I'm doing now is moving these up to the low volume areas, low volume nodes, which kind of seem to be this is not looking good here though. That 79 seems to be holding out. Get some buyers on there. Yay, buyers. Flashing that down there at my stop, so that's not too good. What have we got for upside here? A lot of crap right here, that's for sure. But I shan't be disappointed, I guess. Might have moved that up a little soon to that low volume area. Let's see if they can reload or if I get out, take it out. There we go. Well, that's kind of disappointing, but that's what it is. And we'll take that. Now it's probably gonna, I was probably premature. We'll see if it gets back to the 73 or if it continues on up. It moved right in above me the minute it took that stop. Man, hate that stupid thing. Can't ever remember the settings. I don't know why that is or how to get that done, but god damn, it's frustrating. Really frustrating. Yeah, right to my stop and up she goes. Isn't that incredible? uh, yeah. Anyway, so we got, where'd it go? Where, there we go. How did T1 go? Doesn't seem very right. Is that right? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's correct. And it's going to probably just took me out to the tick on my trailing stop, which was too close, and then we're looking for higher, I guess. And there could be a lot of upside here. Again, there's another, not a lot, but 5, 6 handles. Anyway, too tight. Pulled it up too tight. But, yeah, what are you going to do? I don't know. I could have left it here, I guess. Maybe that's the more intelligent. I don't know. That's just, as I said before, trade management. That's a puzzle to me. So far, I've left 2 handles on the table. And that's where my stop would have been the first move. So now, I don't think it's intelligent to take another one here. We're at the top of a absolute top. Could very well migrate back down for a price check at aisle 3 or wherever. Disappointing though. That is just exactly to the tick. I mean, it almost looks fake. If you look at the stop line at the line and you look at the trade, it almost doesn't look real. But it is pretty amazing. Had I had this down a tick, I guess I would have still be in the trade. Pretty funny. Well, I don't know, but funny. Haha, but funny, odd. Also crazy. Anyway, so we'll see how the day develops. Well, looky there. Yeah, so boom. So there you go. I guess I'm happy I took it off of here. And down we go for a price check. Now would be the time to look at reloading, I guess. But in this case, I think I'm going to reload me, and I smell breakfast. So I'm going to go get some of that. Here we are, trading back down to this notch. The present bottom of the, top of this consolidation. That's just a bunch of noise. Here were the areas I was looking to target, specifically up here. So I'll be right back. Well, how interesting. And now we have a test here at mid, just above VWAP, and testing back up. Are they going to take the run now for the highs? Who knows? This looks like about as high as you're going to get here. Pretty low probability up further, but and got a lot of liquidity parked out here. I will be closing the stream off here at the bottom of the hour. I've got a there we go. So just to put it in perspective, this test down is now 7 points, right? Another 6 points. Pretty safe trade. So that's it. I'll close it off at the bottom of the hour. That's 2 hours streaming. That's probably enough. One pretty decent trade. And they could do this noise for some time, or just, knock it out of the park and head for higher ground. You never know. Value area high from yesterday up here at 85. Sure. Very good possibility. But you need to be on down here. And now it's, and this is a pretty dicey spot because you got mid VWAP and VPOC down below. So, yeah. I will not be watching this until this afternoon. I've got to take my wife over to an appointment, and we've got some contractors coming here to the house. So it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge Friday afternoon, but to have a reasonably good trade. Pretty well planned and well managed, I think, or fairly well managed trade is pretty good. So have a great holiday. It's 15 December 23. Jesus. Christmas 2024, just around the corner. Oof. Crazy. All right, stream has stopped. We're up 425 or 4 and change on the day. One trade. Risk neutral from early on, seconds on, and can probably look at that pretty quickly. So here's the entry. There's the first scale at risk neutral, which brings our break even down here. The stop just above that, so that it's stop just above break even to cover commissions, etc. And then trade manage up to the first low volume area, and as price moves higher, and then once again somewhere up here, it's hard to see, boy, for me anyway, and then up here to the second low volume node, and it was taken out by literally almost an unbelievable tick right here. It doesn't look to me that price actually touched it, to be honest about it. And I would have to be pretty, yeah. Anyway, obviously, way worked out well because it pulled back to here, but here we go again. And now this lift will probably take it to the higher ground. But this is breakout trade for me. I was not available to get on here. And that's it for the day. Great weekend.